Hello viewers, I am Will Keith and I am here today to review something rather cool. This is the Defcon D2 Tool Steel fixed blade knife. This was sent to me from Top Quest, a knife manufacturer and distributor, and I gotta say this thing's pretty friggin' nice. It was actually designed by a sheriff in Ohio, so you know that it's gonna be built for utility. It's not like a woodsman camp knife, you know, you're not going to be chopping down trees with this thing. It's designed, obviously, it's going to be useful in combat. It's going to be able to cut through any kind of ropes or like zip ties. It's going to be able to do anything that a cop will need it to do. And, you know, that's pretty reliable right there. Like I said, it's made from D2 tool steel, which is a really, really solid metal. Like, this isn't going to bend, it's not going to break, it's not going anywhere. It is, however, susceptible to rust, so you got to make sure to keep a decent coat of oil on it like you would any kind of longer sword. It's got 3 pegs going through the handle. The handle is G10 and you can see the 3 pegs in there, so the handle's not going anywhere. I mean the scales. And it's got the grip up here to keep your thumb on there for if you're sawing through something with it. And let me bring it a little bit close up so you can kind of see the pattern on it. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that, but it's got the cutouts there and good drop point blade there. So all in all, it's a pretty solid looking knife. It's 11.3 inches altogether, 5.75 inch blade, 5-inch handle, and I gotta say, I really love this thing. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I should point out about the appearance of it. Alright, now, as a reviewer, I always tell people, I always tell companies, if they're going to send me a blade, I'm going to be reviewing it, like, very honestly. And that means that as much as I like this thing and as much as I'm appreciative of it, I do have to point out what I consider to be a bit of a flaw. It might not be a flaw for some people, but it is for me, and it would be for a lot of people. And that's the finger cutouts in the handle. Now me, I have really big fat hands, and even for me, when I try to get my fingers in those notches, it like really stretches them out and it's not right. And whenever I'm using this, like if I'm hitting something with it, I know that my fingers are going to shift closer together and just be on the points of the notches. Because if I try to get them in the notches, see how far my fingers have to be spread out? So that is a bit of a downside to me. And since I know the guys from Top Quest are going to be watching this, I feel like it would be prudent to point out some maybe more effective handle designs that people of any sized hand will be able to handle comfortably. Like, this thing, it's not going to injure you like some of the blades you might see on Forged in Fire or something like that. I mean, you can have your handle close, you can have your fingers close together. It's just going to be slightly uncomfortable. I'm going to start with this. You can see here how there's one notch, which means no matter how big or small your hand might be, you're always going to have one finger above and the rest of them below. So, you see what I mean there? Even if I had like a really tiny Donald Trump hand or a huge fucking Andre the Giant hand, it's still going to fit because, you know, there's only one notch. So there's nowhere that's going to jab into my fingers. And now, this is a practice knife, but it has a smooth handle, but it flares out on the bottom. So when you're gripping that, no matter how hard somebody's yanking on it, it's not going to slide out of your hand because, like I said, it flares out right there. And that's the same situation with this. Smooth handle, fits well in the hand, and it flares out at the end. So even if you're chopping through like an entire tree with this machete, that's not going to go flying out of your hand. So I'm going to move those out of the way. And I should probably move on to the cut test. Oh yeah, the dagger here is the same thing. One of the original everyday carry weapons you got here. You got small handle that fits really solidly in your hand. Flared pommel, so it's not going to slide out of your hand. And now I'm going to get this out of the way too, because I'm going to be cutting water bottles, as I am known to do. Gonna get this one right up here. And like I said, this isn't really any kind of camp knife or wood cutting knife. but still I'm going to be smacking into a good bit of wood to show you that the blade's not going to get chipped or anything. But right now I'm going to be doing the cut tests. Comes with a really good edge. I haven't sharpened it or anything. Like I said though, this steel is susceptible to rust, so you got to keep that oiled. I'm going to have to oil this as soon as I get inside. It's a light blade too. It's small and it's light, which is good. It's very very maneuverable. That was a good one. Yes! You know how much I love when something like that happens. Especially when it's the top half. You know, when it happens to the top half, that's particularly amusing. This bottle is weirdly slanted. Look at that. Look at how it's slanted. There we go. Now, like, see, this is the issue with the handle. I find myself wanting to grip it down here, where, like, the green handle knife, I have my one finger here and the rest of them down here, rather than having the two notches digging into my hand. Like, I don't like that handle. Like, if you're having a knife custom built for you, you can have the handle built to whatever size will fit your hand. But if you're going to be sending it publicly, it should be something that'll work for the biggest man or the smallest woman. Excellent. Alright, so general sharpness test, comes really good edge out of the box. And now I'm gonna got this little plank here. It's covered in mud and kind of grimy, but that's fine. I am not Adrian Monk. So I'm gonna put this right here, and I'm gonna hold it this way, and I'm gonna kind of whale into it a bit. See, it's blowing out a decent chunk there. Absolutely no edge damage, no sign that I've been hitting anything with the blade. But again, I gotta say, the handle, this thing is digging into my fingers. It's uncomfortable. Gotta keep readjusting my grip. Yeah, I feel like if I went at it for long enough, I'd be able to pretty much chop through this whole thing. I don't really know if there's a point of doing so. If there was going to be any edge damage due to hitting wood, it would have happened already, and it ain't happening. Every time I hit it, my hand slides further down the handle, which is like the exact opposite of what the notches are for. But if they don't fit in your hand, you're not gripping as tight as you should because you're trying to avoid the discomfort. It's just like a subconscious kind of thing. Oh, look at that. Alright. I'm going to say that's probably enough. Still, absolutely no sign that I've been hitting anything. You know, that's weird, because usually when you cut wood, even if it doesn't actually damage the blade in any way, it usually leaves like schmutz on the side of the blade, but none. This thing is still shiny as hell. No wear on the edge. It's really, really good steel. Very sharp, very solid blade. I just wish that they would kind of redesign the handle a little bit. Just get rid of this one notch right here. Just get rid of that and it would be flawless. But it's already a really good blade. You have bigger hands, it's going to be totally fine. Even if you don't have bigger hands, like I said, it's not a huge deal. It's just a little pet peeve of mine with knives. Defcon D2 tool steel stonewash fixed blade knife from Top Quest. I'll put a link in the video description so you can go down there right to the buy page. Have a look around on the rest of the Defcon series though, because they're all generally built with the same quality, but some of them might have a different handle. I'm not positive about that. But anyway, like I said, link in the video description. Very solid blade. Oh, I almost forgot one of the most important things here, the sheath. Or scabbard, whatever you want to call it. This thing is amazing. It's made from Kydex, and it has one of the coolest mechanisms that I've ever seen come with a knife. I'm gonna pick up my machete again here and use the sheath as kind of a makeshift belt. Let me come over here so you can kind of see what's going on. You see this mechanism right here? You take this, that flips open. You take your belt. I'm not wearing a belt, so I'm using this as an example. You slide the belt right in there, and you go ahead and squeeze that closed. And look, that is not going anywhere. Like even this, I can yank it pretty hard. Yeah, it's not moving. I'm putting like as hard as I can without risking it, just like ripping the whole thing apart. And that's not moving. You have it a belt. I have it on a belt that's going all the way around your waist. That is 100% reliably on there. But it does have the issue of where if you push in on this, it'll just flip open. However, they thought about that. And you can slide the switch to the left, and now you can push on it as much as you want, and that's not going to open. So if it's like clanking around on a loaded backpack, or if you're pushing on it with your leg as you're trying to run while it's on your belt, it's not going to open as long as you flip that switch. You put it back the other way, push it in, and there it goes. So that is an amazing sheath. Really solid material. And the blade, it just snaps in there. So there's no straps or anything to fiddle with. Like that's the thing, like this, like I said, this was designed by a sheriff. So he's gonna know that you need really quick access to a knife. Because like, that's the whole thing. You have a knife, you're a sheriff, you're gonna have a gun. You're either gonna have a primary weapon, you're gonna have a sidearm, you're gonna have both. If you get to the point where you need the knife fucking fast, you are going to need the knife really fucking fast. And that's the thing, you got this on your belt, you just, whoop, there's the knife. No fiddling with it. So, I guess that's all there really is to say about this. Link in the video description. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm gonna have to give this knife an 8 out of 10. It will get a solid 10 out of 10 if they could just kind of sort out the handle a little bit. That's my one and only complaint, and unfortunately it's somewhat of a big one to me personally. But that's just my own thing. Like I said, I'm finicky about handles. Yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.